This is QTV News. I am Marietu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. First, the main local, business, international and sports news headlines. In local news, President Barrow arrives in Basse at the scene of the recent devastating market fire and makes a significant personal pledge. Leaders of various political parties have rallied to offer their moral and financial support to the people of Basse. Basse Area Council's chairman announces plans for the temporary relocation of businesses destroyed in the Basse Market fire. A former Statehouse waiter tells the TRRC, among other things, that ex-President Jammeh abused girls, was aggressive to his staff and ordered his drinking water from France. In business news, Global Properties, in partnership with Swami India International, launched the Barakah Estate in Bakoteh. And now, the local news in detail. Gambian President Adama Barrow visited the fire disaster in Basse on Thursday to view the scene and meet victims. President Barrow has announced that government will act with urgency to build another market infrastructure for the people of Basse. QTV's Momodu Lamin Choi is with the presidential delegation and he now reports.
After several visits by government and non-government officials and dignitaries, the president takes his turn to visit Basse's burnt-out market and victims of the fire outbreak. Fire victims and Basse residents lined up, ready to hear from the country's head of state as to what solutions he has to offer. Received by the URR governor, President Adama Barrow exchanges handshakes with the victims. In accordance with their nationalities, he is taken on a tour to see first-hand evidence of the amount of damage caused by the fire outbreak. Addressing the victims and all the people of Basse, the president assures them of his government's response to the fire disaster. Mr. Barrow believes that the fire outbreak is a national disaster and says his government will act with urgency to bring relief and solutions.
Now we are approaching this with urgency. It's an emergency. It's a national disaster. We are calling on every Gambian to contribute towards this disaster. Always they will say GoFundMe. This is the biggest GoFundMe in the Gambia. It's a national disaster and I want us to treat it that way. We don't want this to be politicized. This is a national issue. Let's treat it as a national issue. It's an emergency. It's urgent. Let's treat it with patriotism.
President Barrow plans to convene a meeting after returning from his trip in URR to meet with GumWorks, the Minister of Works and Finance Ministry, to initiate efforts to rebuild the destroyed market. The president echoes promises of other authorities in saying that an inquiry will be established to investigate the cause of the fire.
I was supposed to visit Basse on Wednesday, but I said that no, there is need because it is urgent. And if things are urgent, you treat them with urgency.
After addressing the people of Basse, President Barrow offers victims $2 million in cash, saying that the money is his personal contribution. Of the fire outbreak are happy with the president's visit, and they tell us what their expectations are.
We are expecting a rapid reconstruction of the market, so that the vendors in the market who are affected directly can have somewhere to start their business.
My expectation is that our President Adama Barrow is coming to see what has happened and to take swift action to rebuild the market. We need that as quickly as possible to resume business. The President thanks local government authorities, including the security, fire and rescue services, Senegalese fire officers, and everyone who offered support in the wake of the fire outbreak. He calls on all Gambians, especially the financially privileged, to support the fire victims. For QTV News in Upper River Region, I am Momodu Lamin Choi.
The aftermath of the Basse Market fire outbreak has seen political leaders with their party executives visiting the scene to offer financial assistance to victims after sympathizing with them over the disaster. Momodu Lamin Choi again.
Party leaders of two popular opposition political parties, the United Democratic Party and Gambia Democratic Congress, were out to show solidarity with the Basse fire victims. Mama Kande and lawyer Usainu A&M Dabo with their party executives arrived to sympathize with victims. Speaking with similar tone and language, both leaders expressed sadness over the fire disaster.
And it's devastating for everybody in this country. The occupants of this market, the economic operators here, have lost a lot in terms of goods, in terms of money.
It's a big loss. It's a serious loss, and I hope that the council and the government will find a lasting solution.
The show of solidarity with victims goes alongside with significant offers of cash. The Gambia Democratic Congress party leader presented a donation of $200,000 to the authorities on the ground for victims. Mr. Kande calls on Gambians to give humanitarian support to victims, saying that the burnt-out market is a loss for the entire country.
The little that I can do is to contribute my quota to help the victims. This money is not for area council or the government or whatsoever. This is mainly for victims. And I would urge every Gambian, every human being, to put in their quota to help these victims because they need help. This is the time they need help. This is where they survive. This is where they feed themselves and their family.
And next, to show solidarity and offer financial support is the United Democratic Party donating $400,000 to the victims. The UDP leader appeals to Gambians and the business community to show mercy and understanding to the fire victims.
I want to be a little bit more, some human appeal to the humanity of some of the people. You know, there are business people in the market here who have really taken goods on credit from importers and have brought them here. Now they have no means of paying that. I want them to have some consideration that their default in non-payment is not out of sheer unwillingness. It is because of the disaster that has happened here.
As humanitarian assistance for victims keeps growing, Friends of Basse, a local organization in URR, have initiated a GoFundMe and a bank account with Ajib Bank, through which funds can be raised to support the fire victims. Boy Barry, a representative of Friends of Basse, speaks to QTV about the humanitarian initiative.
Actually, the accounts at the AGB, it has been there for the association well before. So, but GoFundMe happened when we started, when this fire outbreak came out, and then we communicated rapidly, so that people can at least come up with something that we can help the victims of this fire disaster.
While the fire outbreak has left a few people with something to sell, the majority of business owners are left with nothing to do business. The fire has consumed an unquantifiable amount of money and goods, which lots of people depend on for survival. This is a tragedy that affects people's business as well as the Gambia's economy. For QTV News in Upper River Region, I am Amon Lamin Choi.
Ibrahima Jaju, a waiter to the ex-president Yahya Jammeh, told the TRRC on Thursday that the ex-president allegedly abused girls, was aggressive to his staff and orders his drinking water from France. Jaju was very much part of the ex-president's inner circle and revealed a lot that would have surprised many. Barakah Estate again.
Ibu Jaju, a train waiter, told the Truth Commission that he was working at State House, responsible for serving food and beverages to the ex-president and his family. He said there were Gambians, Egyptian, Indonesian and Moroccans performing different functions at State House. He said Yahya Jammeh didn't drink Gambian water but ordered mineral water from France. In his time at State House, Jaju was able to see beyond the ex-president's public persona. He said working under the ex-president at State House was fearful and risky, explaining how Jammeh would insult their mothers. The witness also narrated how lots of people got killed by speeding cars when Jammeh would throw biscuits during presidential escorts. He estimated that about 20 innocent people were killed in this way between 2001 and 2008. Mr. Jaju said the ex-president loved green tea, locally called attaya, and that Jammeh preferred beautiful young ladies to serve him the drink. Jaju had his suspicion of why this was.
I am the one who should take the attire for him. That's what is my work or my job. But if I take the first cast, if I give him, he will ask me who is preparing the attire. Then I will name the name. Then he will tell me to tell the person brewing the attire to bring the attire. And anytime the woman is there, and anytime the wife is there, you say Aseka is the wife, nobody takes the attire. I'm the one who takes the attire for him. That one I cannot take. A man and a woman. Anything can happen. Honestly, I've never seen, but my mind is not at rest.
In March of 2008, Ibu Jaju said he was ordered to vacate State House at around midnight. While at home the following day, he said he was arrested by state guards and taken to the police headquarters, accused of poisoning the ex-president's food, an allegation he denied.
Whether the president knows or not, anything he eats, I do taste it before he eats it. So if that happens, I will know.
During his arrest, Jaju said he took along a mosquito repellent grease oil in case he was detained. Unfortunately, those were the items the police confiscated from him and used as evidence that he used them to poison the president. Detained for 9 months, Ibu said he was released but rearrested just after 1 week, accused of being in possession of spiritual water. After a thorough search by the police, nothing was found. After spending a few days at the police headquarters in Banjul, he said he was escorted to Mile 2 prisons where he spent 3 years and 5 months without access to his family, a lawyer, and no charges were brought against him. When he returned home after his release, he said he found out that both his parents had died. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
As part of short-term measures following the fire outbreak, which destroyed Basse Market, the Basse Area Council's chairman has announced 2 venues for the temporary relocation of businesses. As QTV's Momodo Lamin Choi reports, vendors have also disclosed how difficult business has become in the wake of the fire disaster.
No market stalls were spared by the fire, and the Basse Area Council has to take short-term plans. The chairman informs QTV that the area council will be relocating traders to 2 venues after doing some assessments with physical planning technicians.
We have a market, that's the old market, where you have textile sellers and shoe sellers there. There are spaces there, and we have another market, another place behind that place also, where they sell the second-hand clothes, where it's virtually empty. Today we'll make the announcement that we don't want any vendor to be sitting on the roadside. Let them all go and occupy that place. That's the temporal measure that we have put in place now. And equally, we also have another place in Kobakunda. We want to accommodate these people here, then from there, then we'll move to Kobakunda and demarcate that place also, so that they can also occupy those places.
Vendors who had stock that was not consumed by the fire are now sitting along the roads around the market to do business. From now on, the Basse Area Council wants to see business suspended at the burnt-out market and for the 2 identified venues be used by vendors as a temporary measure. Jammeh Kamara, a vendor at the market, reacts to the planned action.
Like right now, where they are saying, let us go to Kobakunda. Some people are here. They don't have nothing inside the market. What they will take and go and sell in Kobakunda. Already passing who used to sell pepper and other things. So go to Kobakunda. Let them help us. We have here a place. Kobakunda is very far for us.
The cause of the fire outbreak remains unknown, though an electric fault could be the cause. The chairman of the Basse Area Council emphasizes that warning letters were sent to vendors to desist from illegal wearings and that some complied but others ignored such instructions.
Yes, if I'm in my office now, I can even show you a document where my development officer once wrote to these people in the market that anybody who is doing illegal connection or wrong connection, you have to desist from it. If not, they are going to be taken to the police or your stores are going to be closed. That will investigate.
Have them been ever taken to the police?
No, but they comply with the development officer's request that they have to put in their pipe, their wires in the pipes, and they have to do correct connections.
If they had complied, there wouldn't be bad wiring.
Yeah, you know, as I told you, in every society, you have the goods and the bads. I can be in my stores saying that no one is seeing me. I can do my things without anyone knowing it.
There is not more business as usual, as vendors have been displaced by the unfortunate destruction of their market. All businesses are affected. There is a total setback in our business today. Everything is destroyed, including my market stall. I am today sitting in the sun with my family to sell, and business is running very slow. The little we earned in our business is gone, and we should only be faithful. It's so devastating, and what I know is that all of us are left in tragedy. Not only Basse is affected, but also the entire country. We hope that authorities take actions to relocate us to another place where we can successfully do business in the short term. Njunduba Jabi is a trader who relies on the market to buy goods and sell. He tells us that his business and livelihood will be seriously affected. It is in this market that I used to buy all my goods. Having seen it reduced to such destruction, I am so disturbed. This has seriously affected my business and livelihood. If I were getting 50% benefit from this market, today it has reduced to 10%. Early morning scene shows some forms of business resuming and residents of Basse scavenging in the remains of the fire outbreak to either sell or consume. For QTV News in Basse Upper River region, I am Mohamed Lamin Choi.
A two-day forum on the recommendations for the amendment of the Elections Act was organized on Wednesday by the Ministry of Justice and the Independent Electoral Commission. Momodu Gajaga attended the opening, and this is his report.
According to the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, 14 political parties are officially registered in the Gambia. With the new political pluralism, there is perhaps a need to review the Elections Act.
Areas of concern in the electoral process include the following: demarcation, registration of voters, nominations, campaign, political finance and media, voting and counting, and declaration of electoral results. All of these areas have direct bearings on the conduct of free, fair, and transparent elections. The spirit of stakeholder consultation was meant to encourage participation from the grassroots of the Gambian electorate, taking a bottom-top approach.
In July 2015, the Elections Act was amended with an exorbitant increase in the required deposit of $500,000, up from $10,000 to contest for president, and an increase from $5,000 to $50,000 to contest for National Assembly position. Opposition political parties at the time not only regarded the increases as unreasonably high, but also as a ploy by the government to drastically limit the participation of the opposition in elections. However, on the 28th February 2017, the National Assembly passed the Elections Amendment Act 2017 to encourage widespread participation of the ordinary citizen in the new democratization dispensation.
The idea of convening this two-day workshop came about as a result of the proposals that were submitted to my office by the Independent Electoral Commission to assist in amending the Elections Act. And they were quite interesting proposals. And I thought that the process of amendment must be inclusive, must be consultative.
Mai Ahmed Fati, the leader and Secretary General of the Gambia Moral Congress, says the forum is significant to attain free, fair and credible elections.
We believe that it is not the conclusion of an election that matters. It is the processes leading towards an election that determines its fairness or credibility. So we will be looking at the process, the fair play, particularly relating to media, access to information, the ability to campaign, the ability to conduct your politics. These are very important elements. So we are also going to be looking at the Public Order Act, because it is very obstructive in so many ways. So we are looking to take all these issues from the hands of the bureaucrats and putting it into the hands of the citizens.
New voter registration, voting with marbles or paper, a referendum on the new draft constitution and the 2021 presidential elections will all be organized by the Independent Electoral Commission. The recommendations for the amendment of the Elections Act Forum was organized in partnership with the Africa and West Africa Asia Program for the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, IDEA, and UNDP. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we come back, in business news, we hear about the new Barakah Estate in Bakoteh, launched by Global Properties in partnership with Swami India International.
Oh yes! QCell has exhausted the number 3 series, the 50, 51, 52, and 53 number series. We are expanding and introducing another new number series, starting with 58 and 59. With the 58 and 59 numbers, you can call any QCell number for the same on-net charges. You get the same great service at the exact same charges offered to numbers in the 3, 50, 51, 52, and 53 series. The family is even bigger now. For more information, call customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow. Right time, right place, right price. Promote your product, business, and brand to millions of viewers nationwide or across the globe. Call QTV Marketing on 32-44444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm for all your advertisement needs. QTV Gambia, right place.
Welcome back. In business news, Global Properties, in partnership with Swami India International, on Thursday launched Barakah Estate in Bakoteh. The new estate, one of the most developed in the country, reflects the developer's ambition to make convenient and accessible housing to meet community needs. Ajibinto Jammeh reports.
Barakah Estate in Bakoteh consists of beautifully designed architecture equipped with amenities for convenient and accessible housing. At the luncheon, the CEO of Global Properties, Saul Fraser, expresses gratitude to Swami India International for their immense efforts and positive contribution to uplift the lives of Gambians over the past decades. He added that the need to satisfy people's demands is a priority that warranted the construction of Barakah Estate.
Our motto has been to deliver innovative property solutions and having a vision of being the preferred choice for real estate solutions. With that mindset, we sought housing solutions that catered for all by offering a diversified portfolio. Along the way, we realized that partnership is the key in strengthening our objectives and accomplishing our goals. Together with our partners, Swami India International, we have not only achieved our goals in the last decade, but superseded them.
Kimji Pindoria, the CEO of Swami India International, talks about the journey with Global Property since inception 13 years ago.
When we established in the Gambia, I can confidently say that there were no estate of such established in the country. An experience from India and Gambian was the perfect platform that gave us the opportunity to create a concept suitable for demand from the consumers.
Maria Mondur Njai, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Local Government and Lands, states that the estate is important as it creates employment opportunities and contributes to national development.
Partly complements the government's endeavor to bridge the housing deficit in the country. But most importantly, the employment of youths in the construction sector who are in dire need of the experience in this sector.
Musaba, the deputy mayor of KMC, says he is delighted to see such magnificent development in the Kanifing municipality.
These are homes that embody quality and good design, and I am sure people that will be living here will enjoy their new environment.
Barakah Estate has 4 types of homes that cater to the widest audience, displaying wonderfully and uniquely designed affordable houses. The price of the homes ranges from $3.2 million to $6.5 million, an initial down payment of 30% followed by a 12 or 24 months installment is part of the conditions. These are not just houses, they are homes. Ajibinto Jammeh, QTV News.
And now on to some sports news. Here's my colleague Aliu Sise with the latest. Aliu, what do you have for us?
Thank you very much, Mariatu. Well, the Confederation of African Football CAF has named Gambian referee Bakary Papa Gassama
as among the referees for next month's qualifiers for the AFCON 2021. Papa Gassama will officiate the game between Libya and Equatorial Guinea. He will be assisted by Abdul Aziz Bolel Jawo, Umar Dabo, and Umar Salah as the fourth referee. CAF has also assigned Kwasi Atiso Atiyogbe of Togo as the match official for the Gambia's away game to Gabon on the 26th of March. CAF, in the same vein, has also appointed Pacific Ndabia Wenimana to take charge of the return leg between the Gambia and Gabon in Banjul on the 30th of next month. And now to handball, because one of the most well-known handball clubs in the country, Lionheart, is preparing to travel to Kaolack, Senegal for the regional championship scheduled for this weekend. I visited the team at their training camp at the stadium, where I spoke to the Secretary General of the club, Hafiz Jallo, and a player, Idris Ajay.
It is indeed very important because, as you can see, the team is competing in the National League, and there are potential players that can also double to represent the national team. So this tournament can help them in terms of experience, in terms of relevant exposure for them to be able to have the knowledge and the know-how on how other players play this game at other countries, especially Senegal.
Yeah, to say much about it, what I've seen right now is that my players are getting very ready for this fitness tournament that we are going to have ahead. Right? We are doing our best to make sure that our players do much better in that tournament.
So how important do you think this tournament is for you as handball players?
Oh, I think it's very important to us because it gives us the courage to play more, and then give us the experience that we are going to play outside, not only with like people that we know here, but other new faces that we are going to face against. Yeah.
Well, Mariette, that's all we have for the sport news today. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Aliu. Before we end this bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. In local news, President Barrow arrived in Basse at the scene of the recent devastating market fire and made a significant personal pledge. Leaders of various political parties rallied to offer their moral and financial support to the people of Basse. Basse Area Council's chairman has announced plans for the temporary relocation of businesses destroyed in the Basse Market fire. A former Statehouse waiter has told the TRRC, among other things, that ex-President Jammeh abused girls, was aggressive to his staff, and ordered his drinking water from France. In business news, Global Properties, in partnership with Swami India International, launched the Barakah Estate in Bakoteh. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.